Hey guys, welcome to The Market is Open. Check out our website, themarketisopen.com, where we have stock news, stock charts, and you can even build your own stock portfolio and share it with your friends. Today we're going to talk about a few news points on Tesla's deliveries, and we're also going to have a look at Tesla's stock chart to see if it'll rebound. But first, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would really appreciate your support. And we have tons of new Tesla stock videos every week. So please subscribe and hit the bell button to get notified about our new Tesla videos. Also, check out our amazing Elon Musk t-shirt in the description below. This equation evaluates to Elon Musk. We came up with it ourselves, and we would really appreciate it if you checked it out. Okay, so we're going to start with a piece by Jim Cramer, who actually covered Tesla stock for the first time in a long time on his show. He said he wasn't really going to recommend it or anything. He kind of wants to distance himself away from the company. However, he had a chartist actually give a bullish outlook about the stock chart on the show. The first thing that Jim Cramer said was that he said that Elon Musk had the self-control of a toddler. However, he does have a fabulous sense of showmanship. And I agree, I think Elon Musk is a great marketer, and the whole Tesla team is as well, and they're extremely good at giving the company and the products sort of a mysterious aura that makes you want to come back and be enthusiastic about the company. However, that said, the product is extremely good, and it seems to be destroying the competition all over the world. Jim also thinks that people only own the stock because they believe in Elon's leadership. He also has been pretty critical of Elon Musk, saying that he could lose his job. That's on the table for Elon with that fight with the SEC. But Cramer does admit that he doesn't have a lot of insight based on the company's fundamentals. You might also remember in the IPO days, actually I think it was the day of Tesla's IPO, Elon Musk actually called Jim Cramer a contra-indicator, and Cramer was pretty negative on the stock back then, even when the company IPO'd at $17 per share.
Jim, I think recommended investments and layman and other things. So, frankly, he's contraindicated.
Of course, Tesla stock is now at $285 a share. That's off some of the lows that we've seen in the last couple of days and weeks where the stock was in the 260s. However, it is down from the 300. So let's have a look at the charts. Okay, so this was Cramer's analysis. He talked about some of the different patterns that he noticed in the stock chart, but you can see that for a few years between 2014 to 2017, the stock sort of traded within a range and didn't really do much for a couple of years. Then in 2017, the stock shot up like crazy, but since then it actually hasn't been doing anything either, and sort of has been trading between another range between around 380 and 260. But Cramer's chartist is now saying that the stock is making a hammer candle pattern, which sounds completely made up, and it is, but that might lead to a reversal in the company. He also says that there's like a morning star pattern, but like I don't know about if these patterns are correct or not. He does know, like, if Cramer's good at one thing, he's definitely good at the market mechanics, and he's excellent at figuring out what the big money is doing, what the big hedge funds are doing with their money, and how that will affect the stock price. So the interesting thing about this long-term Tesla chart is that if you draw a line that sort of connects all of the bottoms of the stock, they all sort of connect perfectly. And you can see that just recently, the stock hit this line of resistance and bounced back up. So now the chartists are becoming more bullish because the stock basically held its long-term line, even all the way back to 2013. That's sort of where it started. And you can see in 2016 and 2017, it bounced off of this line. So for chartists, that's pretty bullish, and it seems to be that perhaps Tesla stock will make another similar comeback to what we've seen here in the past, and it'll sort of jump up dramatically and then maybe hang around a different range for the time being. So to be honest, a couple problems I think I see with this is that it all depends on the production and deliveries, whose numbers are coming up in the next couple of days, and then Tesla is going to be reporting their quarterly earnings soon. So we're going to actually see about the real fundamental health of the company. And if it is positive, I believe that this chart will hold true and the stock can jump up. However, if there's extremely terrible news about the company, perhaps Elon loses his job in the worst case scenario, I do see the stock falling below the current levels. But we're going to talk about deliveries in a second. But for the time being, it seems like Tesla is delivering a lot of cars all over the world, and they're being extremely well received. It is an amazing product. So perhaps we can call this stock pattern maybe like a U-turn pattern, or a higher than expected deliveries pattern, or maybe the car is actually crushing the competition type pattern. Either way, Cramer's chartist is saying that the stock has limited downside and large upside, whereas Cramer is saying that the stock is way too risky for him and he can't get behind it. So sort of mixed results from Jim Cramer's analysis. The other thing I don't really like about this charting thing is that this is a straight line, whereas Tesla has been growing exponentially. So I agree that maybe Tesla has gotten ahead of itself, and it sort of needs to grow into its market cap by showing its deliveries and its profitability. But at a certain point, like let's say you extrapolate this for a couple of years from now, and Tesla eventually does catch up to this sort of line of resistance, I think it'll actually turn into more an exponential curve and follow the company's actual growth rate. Now back to the topic of deliveries, I wanted to draw your attention to this Bloomberg chart which they put up on their website. Now lately people have been guessing or trying to guess Tesla's delivery numbers. So Bloomberg has been the most accurate. I think they seem to have a plus or minus 5% error on their previous track record, and even better than that for the last couple quarters. Right now, Bloomberg is estimating 79,130 Model 3s delivered for this quarter. And even the makers of this Bloomberg chart believe that that number is actually quite high because it's much higher than what everyone else is saying. I've seen some bears say 45,000 total, like all of Tesla's cars, including Model S and X. Bloomberg's estimates are only for Model 3. So some people are saying around 50,000. I think CNN wrote a great article, which didn't make a lot of sense, about how Tesla's going to experience the largest drop in sales in the history of the company. CNN was saying that Tesla is going to have about 50,000 Model 3s to be delivered, which is lower than the 63,000 number that they reported last quarter. And they also think that Model S and X cars will be much lower than the 22,000 they delivered last quarter, which added up to a total of about 90,000 cars. So CNN thinks that that's going to be way lower. I mean, they could be right, but they kind of just pulled some numbers out of nowhere. They don't really have any data. So I'd like to take you back to this Bloomberg chart because they're actually looking at least some data. I mean, the data could be wrong or misleading, but so far they do have an excellent track record of predicting Tesla's sales. Okay, so Bloomberg is collecting their data from people that are giving them their VIN numbers for their car, and you sort of have to prove that you actually have the VIN. So this is the last quarter, if you could see my mouse over here, where Tesla reported that 63,000 Model 3 number, and that was a record December quarter for the company. Now you'll notice that it actually, in terms of the dots or the VIN numbers over here, it's actually not really that dense compared to the quarter before. That looks extremely dense. But you'll notice that all of the VIN numbers sort of need to appear within the first 100,000 approximately in this quarter, whereas in the next quarter, Tesla has sort of like a range of about 170,000, let's say. So because they have like sort of a bigger box for these dots to appear in, they might look more spaced out, but there actually are more dots in this segment than there were in the previous quarter. So now we're going to fast forward to the current quarter, which includes some of these blue dots, which is the international VIN numbers. So those are for Europe and for China. And although it looks like that there aren't very, like the population of dots isn't really dense here, now you have this entire area, which is up to about 330,000 units where they can place their dots, whereas in the previous quarter, they could only go up to about 180,000. Now, the dots might be more spread out, but they have like a much wider area, actually almost double from the previous quarter. So it looks like Tesla started delivering a lot of cars between that 180,000 range all the way up to the 320, 330,000 range. And you'll see how dense the blue dots are over here, which are the European deliveries. And it's sort of masking some of these green dots, which are the US or North American deliveries. And a lot of those will probably appear in March when most of the US cars were likely delivered. The other thing is that Elon was quite proud of his Tesla team and said that it was the most insane logistics challenge he's ever seen. So it sounds like they have a huge wave of cars, which he sent out an email 10 days earlier asking for help for everybody to deliver a huge number of cars in North America and in Europe and China. So this is supposed to be one of the most challenging quarters of the year. At first, Elon said that all quarters going forward would be profitable. And then he said that if they would work really hard, then they might make a slight profit this quarter. And then later on, he told analysts that there would probably be no profit this quarter. But like we'll see if he will actually deliver and be able to eke out that slight profit. So, I mean, let's see the production numbers before we start guessing earnings. But this quarter, they are supposed to be selling the most expensive and most highly profitable Model 3s in Europe and China. And these are basically fulfilling all of the European and Chinese pre-orders that they had way back when, and finally those are going to get delivered. So I think the main headwinds this quarter are the price cuts for the Model 3, the fact that the tax credit got cut in half in the United States, but in Europe, these cars are still selling at full price. And also some of the store layoffs and things like that might be a headwind this quarter, but should help in future quarters. However, Elon does seem pretty stoked about the current results. So we'll keep you updated about the Tesla numbers coming out in the next couple of days, and we'll do a deep analysis on the earnings when they come out. In the meantime, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would really appreciate your support by subscribing. Also, remember to check out the description for our t-shirt. Thanks for watching, and smash that like button.